A man thinks that a woman by nature should be obedient. Yes, my dear, yes, my dear. Men, let me tell you something about women. The first thing you need to know is that a woman, in her view of a man, is an idealist. What does it mean to be an idealist? She wants to see everything at its best in her husband. She wants all the best qualities in a man. He should be the most masculine, the most reasonable, the most knowledgeable, the most erudite, the bravest, and so on. Every woman naturally wants this from her husband. And if she looks at him and sees that this is not the case, she remembers it for life. For her, it's such a stress. She looks at him and thinks, my God, he's so dumb. Or, he's not brave at all, he's a coward. And she immediately starts comparing, but the neighbor's husband is not a coward. And with all of this, when she looks at her husband, she has to say, yes, my dear, I agree with you. Do you know what self-control should be like? She knows him like the back of her hand. Moreover, she knows where his idea will lead, what he says, because her heart feels deeply for her husband. By the way, a woman doesn't feel her own heart as strongly. But when it comes to her husband, she feels everything. She knows what is right and what is wrong. She feels what will come out of it, and she needs to agree. This is a great austerity for a woman, but she must do it, or there will be no happiness. You see, men, it is very difficult for a woman to be obedient. Because, first of all, she can only be obedient in an atmosphere of love, when everything is gentle, smooth, and affectionate. Then she relaxes and becomes obedient. Secondly, she sees many shortcomings in you. And she has to forget all of that for a moment in order to agree. This is austerity. It is also very difficult for a man to communicate gently with a woman because she wounds him emotionally. When a woman wounds a man emotionally, he protests against her inside. And at that time, you need to say, yes, my dear, yes, my darling. And she might still hurt him emotionally, because often women do not understand how to behave emotionally with a man. They do not understand that for a man, this zone in his heart is very weak. Let me start from the beginning. A person has 3 centers of intelligence. One is located in the forehead area, the second in the heart, and the third in the navel. These 3 centers of intelligence are connected to 3 desires of the soul. This center in the forehead is connected with the desire for knowledge, and a man has great strength here. For a woman, this zone is very sensitive and connected to knowledge. That's why when women listen to knowledge, they feel, oh, this is right. But men say, let's figure it out. They are insensitive here. They know what is right themselves, but women listen, study, and have an indicator here, while men have strength here. For a woman, the strength is in her emotions, feelings, and desires. It's from her heart where love is. In her head is knowledge, in her heart is love. A woman has strength in her heart, but a man has a very sensitive zone. When a man says, now I will explain to you, and starts lecturing his wife, she feels very uncomfortable. She gets tense. Enough already. She gets tired. I can't listen anymore. What does he want from me? Her psyche becomes tense. Just say what you want. Why is he dragging out this logic? Yes, ladies? Her psyche becomes tense. It's hard to listen. It's like I'm dealing with a demagogue. This is violence over the woman. When a man starts pushing logic onto her, he is committing violence. A woman can listen to logic only when it's presented with love, delicately, and she enjoys listening to it. But when there's violence, when there's pressure, it's difficult. And in family life, there is always pressure. Likewise, a woman exerts pressure on a man with emotions. She says, we need to talk. He immediately feels uncomfortable and says, maybe tomorrow, I'm a bit tired today. Then she calls her friend. I just told him, we need to talk. And her friend says, I understand you. Women have equal emotional strength, so they can chat for hours emotionally. No problem. But with her husband, a woman needs to calm her emotions 10 times. She must say calmly, let's talk, and then he will do it. He can handle a little emotional pressure, but not much. A woman can also withstand a small amount of pressure from a man's intellectual strength. That's why a man should say, I'd like to discuss something with you. Not like, I'll explain it to you now, but very carefully. Then she will talk and listen. So living together is very difficult. Some people think they are unlucky, but in reality it's the same for everyone. Life is difficult for many reasons. The main reason is